Hey everybody, Happy New Year, 2023. Um, Today was a tough day. It didn't do what I expected it to. It was first of the year. Stocks were down last year. You would think everybody's looking for bargains, looking to buy. But I think as we saw, we started up. I saw US Steel trigger. I think it was one of my first triggers at 8:40 or 9:40 Eastern. And when I get into those trades before the first half hour expires, I get a little nervous because I know that there's a reversal coming. And so I get in light, and then I'm like, okay, hopefully this reversal won't go below the 5-minute high or won't be too bad, and I can weather the storm. I wish I would have waited 10 minutes because 10 minutes after US Steel triggered, Tesla triggered short. And Tesla, I don't know, Tesla down 13-14%. And at the time, because even last week, I was in the 95 put, and I think Tesla was like around 118. So to go 25 points, part of me told myself, you know what, those are going to be expensive. Tesla just reported. And to summarize, basically, Tesla's producing cars, just nobody's buying them, or they're having a harder time selling them. But later in the day, I looked at those 95 puts, and those went from like 17 at the open up to 30 when they triggered short, and later in the day up to $1. So to go from 30 to 100, that's the triple right there. So I think, and it's the old adage, it's you don't want to catch a falling knife, and that's what we've witnessed these past months or so. People, it's hard to stick your neck out and go long when we've been dropping for so long. The interesting thing with Tesla is that all three of the electric or the EV stocks, RIVN, Lucid, Tesla, all made new lows today. So they're getting hammered. I don't see that turning around. We talked last week, Alan and I talked last week about Republicans taking control of the House, and for better or for worse, Democrats are better for EV stocks. So I don't know what's going to turn those around. I don't foresee a bottom anytime soon. I don't know. Alan, I think you were in US Steel as well. You were long going in. It's the first of the month. It's the first of the year. You would expect kind of to be a little bit more bullish than we were.
Well, we have to go and look at the dynamics of this. The thing is, it's the first day of the month, trading day of the month. So one of my good friends, Darren, sent me a message, and that he went ahead and at about 2 o'clock, he went long Google.
Last week on Friday.
Week? Yeah. So how the pattern goes is the last day of the month, we go down 1% or about 300 points. And then what happens is somewhere after noontime that the stocks go ahead and recover because people are buying into the first day of the month. So that's why we closed down, I think, 70 points, somewhere in that range, because what you saw is an acceleration. I was doing everything on a daily basis. I had to call my trading platform and tell them I want to hold all the way to 4 o'clock because I was playing everything along after about 1-2 o'clock, and they all took off just like I thought. Darren, I thought strategy was a little bit better, which he went ahead and he bought next week's calls, and then that way he got to go ahead and play that. Plus, knowing the first day of the month was going to go up 1%, which it did, over 300 points, he was able to cash in, I'm sure, on a large return. So, one of those things I was a little nervous to hold to the first day of the month because just not sure what's going to happen. The pattern is that Nasdaq usually has its best month of the year in January. It's a great month usually for Nasdaq. Now, what we saw today, which that we saw that pullback, I don't know what to make of what's going to happen. But traditionally, the first 5 days of the month, which is this week only, usually the market will go ahead and go up 5 to 6 to 800 points, 1,000 points for the first week. Then it's usually downhill, and it's usually hugely bad, which is about a 2,000 point drop. So that's usually what we see. Now, the thing is the stocks are extremely beat up. I thought Tesla's strategy, they released their earnings on the first. I thought that was the coolest thing I ever seen. I'm like, this thing's going to go up. Because the way they spun it, I mean, it sounded good. It said that Tesla's deliveries were up 40% year over year. But, this is where supposedly the stock tanked, is that they said the guidance was for 50% to be up. Well, I'm thinking all these EV stocks would be, amazing to go ahead and be up that. Talking to some experts in the industry, finding out what's going on, like with even Ford, that they were telling me that the EV part of their production is going to triple next year, but it's such a small amount of their business that they're going to go up from like 100,000 F-150s to 300,000. That sounds like amazing, but in the overall scheme of things, it's a very small amount. And then I was talking to another expert today, and they said that this whole thing's going to get shelved anyways, which is what the market's indicating, because they said that there's no way to go ahead and get rid of the batteries when they go bad. They're throwing them in the landfills. Well, that can't continue. That's gonna be a
Right, yeah.
disaster.
And I
So
think, because Tesla was, I think, 1.3 million this year, and they're hoping, well, last year, and they're hoping for 2 million next year. But they're wondering who's going to buy them. As far as batteries and things like that, and charging stations, this environment, or this EVs are still new. It seems like they rushed to produce, and now they need to build out the environment. They need to figure out better technology for the batteries. They need to build more superchargers, more charging stations. So it's going to have its growing pains. I think we lost Alan. So yeah, like I said, I don't know when Tesla's going to turn around. So we'll see. Okay, we're back. And honest, I don't even remember. Was this the background that I had the last time?
no.
I didn't think so. I thought it was different, but we're back after some minor technical difficulties. So gotta love Zoom meeting. So I mentioned the 3 EVs being down, talked about Democrats being better for EVs than Republicans, who are now in control. And I think that's what we're seeing. I think I mentioned that I'm not sure when they're going to bounce. I'm not sure when, Tesla's going to put in a bottom. And I think my comments were just to keep shorting it until you do see that daily kind of bottom, or sort of like a bottom of a cup kind of thing. It starts to kind of creep back. But you got to be careful. And I think that's what's so beneficial for the 5-minute app, is that, every day it'll tell you if it's going to continue to come back up, or if it's just sellers continuing to attack it. And I think that was your thoughts, Alan, is that, there are so many shorts out there on these, especially Tesla and Lucid, that just won't give it a break kind of thing. So.
Yeah, I gotta think something may come about it. I'm not really sure. Because I mean they are just getting beat up. I mean that's just all there's to it. If you want to be in a stock that you're going to lose 50% of your investment, get into an EV stock right now.
Right.
I had told them about LCID, and that's almost dropped 50% in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So, and it's probably dropped 350% in the last 2 months. They're just not performing well. It's not looking good for them. There's no way to get rid of the batteries. And then Tesla, which may be what caused the stock to go down. I don't know how your sales could go up 40% and the stock go down.
Well, not the sales, the production. So that's the difference, I think, is that they're producing. It just people aren't buying. And I think that, where was it? South Korea suing Tesla because they overstated their mileage, especially in colder weather, which you and I are familiar with.
Well, and I don't even think they overstated it. They didn't go ahead and let people know that in cold weather, you're going to lose 50% of your charge.
Right.
So if you think it's going to go 100 miles, now you're down 50 miles. I mean, that's huge.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
especially if you're driving any kind of distance. We went ahead and talked about the Ford Transits that I ended up purchasing 3 brand new ones. And the joke is that I met with the Ford dealer manager, and he's telling me, well, what do you think about the electric? I said, well, tell me about the electric. And he says, well, you can only go 50 miles on it. I'm like, that doesn't even make sense.
Right,
And
exactly.
really what he didn't tell me is you can go 100 miles on it, but if you go 50 miles one direction, you got to get back to get the
Yeah,
charger.
right. Well, and I mentioned that too, is that the superchargers or the chargers, they need to build out that. And I honestly don't know. I don't know if an EV from Toyota can plug into a Tesla charger. I don't know those things, only because I'm not in the market. But yeah, that's part of I think it's new, and it needs to grow. And I think these companies, companies that are pushing EVs are kind of a little bit ahead of themselves.
Well, the infrastructure is not there. And then I don't know, I'm friends with the guy from Tesla, and uh, uh, and so he there was a big thing over the weekend that he was announcing that starting with this new bill, that this new thing that was just pushed, the reduction the reduction act, is that all the SUVs, you can get an energy tax credit. I think it's $7,500. It's quite a bit of money, and the only one that can't get the tax rebate is Tesla.
Good.
Really, who's going to buy a Tesla if you can't get a rebate?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I thought that was just crazy. So he just feels like he's getting picked on by everybody, with Twitter. I mean, I don't even know how that company made any money. There's no advertising on it, so I don't know. Hopefully, you know, you know, do more than he can handle. But let's talk a little bit what I'm looking for the rest of the week. The rest of the week we go ahead and it should go up the first 5 days. If it does not go up, that's huge bad news for the market, and you need to go ahead and play everything on the short side till you see any kind of signs that we hit a bottom. So that's what you have to think of. The big thing is it could not hold that 1% gain that we see on the first every time. That 1% gain only went to 945, which we're seeing a lot nowadays Eastern time. Is it's not even making the high at 10 o'clock. It's reversing at 945. Tells me that there's low volume in the markets. So that's just something we got to keep our eyes on. So the key thing is that this is going to be interesting to see what happens. The future should be up right now, but the thing is that the European markets are going to follow our drop today. So the thing is that it may or may not be a positive day tomorrow. I have to think it's going to be flat if anything.
Yeah, interesting. Apple got hit too.
Yeah, I don't either, and we don't even have any bad news to tell us that yet.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So, hey, I'm gonna let you go. I love talking to you. Well, are you going to the Green Bay game?
No. I wonder how much tickets are for that. It's a night game, so
It's gonna be cold, I'm thinking.
I know, right? Yeah, Sunday 21. But I don't know what in Green Bay is.
I thought of going, but I chose not to.
I've never seen a game at Lambeau. I've seen a game, I think a preseason game at Madison. But that was about it. So I'm not to sit at Lambeau for 3.5 hours in the cold. I'm too old for that.
I gotta think the Lions are gonna win. They're on a roll. I think Seattle's gonna lose and the Lions are gonna get in the playoffs. But we'll see. That's what I think. So.
Yeah. I don't know. The Packers looked good on Sunday. Everything was clicking.
The Lions just seem to be the destiny. And if they get in the playoffs, I wouldn't be surprised to get into the Super Bowl.
That'd be
if they
interesting.
get in. Well, the thing is that they're playing so good and so hot.
Yeah.
I mean, so
kind of clicked at the right time. So
yeah. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna let you go.
Okie doke. Sounds good. Have a good rest of the week.
Okay. You too.
I'm gonna go check tickets.
I think you should go.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, take your son. Yeah. All right. I'll talk to you later.
Sure. Bye.
I know.
I want to show you guys this. Hello. Are you an intraday stock or options trader? Cycling through charts, setting alerts, waiting for breakouts? Do you get frustrated when your stocks trade within a range and don't seem to move? That used to be me. And unfortunately, I missed a lot of trades, a lot of stocks that broke while I wasn't looking at their charts, while I was looking at other stocks. Not anymore. I have this. This is the 5-Minute Stock Rule app, and it's available for Android and iOS devices. With this app, you can create a stock list and then monitor those stocks, waiting for breakouts. It alerts you when a stock trades above or below its range, and alerts you again if the stock ever dips back into the range. So let the 5-Minute Stock Rule monitor your stock lists, watching for a breakout, so you don't have to.